First up in our presentations, it is my honor and privilege to recognize Superintendent Diane Douglas with the State of Education. Welcome to the House Committee, Education Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman and members of the House Education Committee, I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. For the record, I am Diane Douglas, Superintendent of Public Instruction. It is my honor to address fellow elected officials who are focused on educating our children. The current state of education in Arizona is poor. Too many Arizona children are not receiving the education they deserve, one that will prepare them to contribute to our great state and our nation as active citizens and allow them to pursue their dreams and their ambitions. Education Week recently released its annual Quality Counts report, which rates all 50 states on overall student achievement, students' chances for success, and school finance policy. Arizona received a D+. It was ranked 47th overall. This is hardly news to Arizona parents, the education and business communities. As a former school board member who has spoken with countless parents, visited teachers, and visited innumerable classrooms, it isn't news to me either. Let me give you specific examples of the problems we face here and now. Number one, our Arizona state standards were discarded and replaced with the unproven Common Core standards, which came to Arizona as a de facto federal mandate, only to be renamed Arizona College and Career Ready Standards. The continual disruption of accountability, assessment, school and teacher evaluations has caused uncertainty and stress in the education community and among Arizona parents. This is not the first time Arizona has changed the entire education system to reflect the latest fad, top-down approach, or a cure-all sold as the solution for student achievement. Common Core is just the latest, implemented virtually without public communication, input, or support. The constant roller coaster of dramatic changes that has taken the focus off educating children and placed it on change for the sake of change. Parents, students, and teachers are exhausted, and districts are broke from remaking curriculum and lesson plans every 7 to 10 years. Just as some stability is reached, everything is changed once again. And now we will be subjecting our children to a brand new, unproven, ineptly named AZ merit test. The name is the only thing Arizona about this test. Hastily chosen just 11 short weeks ago, virtually behind closed doors, once again without public discussion or vetting, a test created by a self-identified, self-described behavioral and social research organization, not education experts. Our dedicated staff at ADE has the daunting task of rolling out this new test in the next 10 weeks. And make no mistake, that team and districts all across the state are working diligently to fulfill that mandate. A mere 21 weeks from adoption to implementation. Let me repeat, 21 weeks, less than a half of a year to prepare a test that virtually every single child in Arizona at almost every grade level will have to take. Once again, our precious children are being used as guinea pigs to advance an education agenda. I call on this legislature and our governor to stop the madness and start putting our children first. 2, Arizona's education system is lagging behind in graduation rates. Graduation rates dipped slightly last year, with about 75% of students graduating in 4 years and just over 80% of students graduating in 5 years. 60% of high school graduates entering our community college system require remedial instruction. This delays their progress towards a degree, uses up their student loans and savings, and places an undue burden on the taxpayers funding this system. Additionally, 50% of high school graduates who directly enter universities, less than 19% graduate from a 4-year institution within 6 years. 1/3 of high school graduates enter college but leave without a degree. They bear the costs of an incomplete college education without receiving the benefits of a degree for additional employment opportunities. 3, Arizona currently is unable to attract and retain high-quality teachers for all students. Nearly 1/4 of Arizona's education workforce is eligible to retire within the next 4 years. New teachers are leaving the profession at an alarming rate. In fact, 24% of first-year and 20% of second-year teachers in Arizona quit after the 2013-2014 school year. Arizona's average teacher salary is ranked 42nd in the nation, and salaries are a major obstacle when recruiting outside of Arizona. Without experienced, highly effective teachers in each Arizona classroom, our students will struggle to succeed. Number 4, our business community complains that Arizona graduates are not ready for the jobs of today, much less the jobs of tomorrow. Every Arizona job should have an Arizona graduate waiting and qualified to fill that position. However, merely training students for a job is insufficient. We must provide them the civics education necessary to become successful citizens of our great state and our great nation. As Superintendent of Public Instruction, I will take an honest, realistic approach to addressing these issues. Let me be clear. Responsibility for the issues we are facing cannot be laid at the feet of any one person, board, or organization. We were not placed in our current situation by uncaring policymakers or educators. I fully realize that previous expenditures and tight budgets that have been placed on all that are involved in this process. Our current fiscal environment does not make our job of putting education on a path to improvement any easier. However, it is our duty to our children to put them ahead of ideology or trendy educational theory. Today, we will start on a collaborative path so others will look to Arizona as an example of education excellence and no longer one of scorn. First, Arizona's children deserve high standards in education. I intend to establish an annual, deliberative, and ongoing process for standards review by a broad spectrum of Arizona classroom teachers, colleges, businesses, and yes, parents too, to ensure continuous improvement. It is long past time that we start asking parents what they expect for their children's education and not tell them what they must accept. Our continual improvement process will allow us the flexibility to make whatever changes are needed without having to ask permission from Washington, D.C., or asking for agreements from some 40 other states. We can make moderate changes in a transparent process each year. This will allow students and teachers to absorb changes without disruption and without major costs to our school districts. Standards in assessment cannot take the place of effective teachers connecting with individual students. Make no mistake, standards and high-stakes testing measures demographics, not student achievement or teacher performance. For many children, the personal confidence shown in them by a caring teacher is something they will remember as a key moment in their education and in their life. Our teachers' content, knowledge, and skills must be built upon rather than erased and replaced with new fads. I know firsthand from my time on a school board just how hard our teachers work and how very deeply they care about their students. We must commit to work just as hard to support them. We have an opportunity to build upon teacher preparation programs that are training of the next generation of Arizona educators. By enhancing the quality of these programs, we can positively impact teacher retention, work to stabilize the growing need for high-quality teachers in our classrooms. For many years, teachers have been asking for additional support. I intend to listen and come to their aid. Next, as superintendent, I will build on the information technology progress made during the previous administration. Our first step is to complete the data systems that have the work that has begun. But data is not useful unless it can be distributed to classroom teachers as information they can use to improve classroom instruction. In addition, I'm committed to strengthening our data security. Every student should have their data collected only when necessary and protected with the care that their parents expect and deserve on their children's data. Finally, all children must be taught accurate history, which requires the inclusion of the rich cultural heritage of Latino Americans, African Americans, Native Americans, and every other group of immigrants that have come to Arizona and suffered through challenges and tribulations to make our state the great one that it is. As part of this effort, the department in the past has reached out to all of these communities for advice. Now it is time that we take that input to the next level. All ethnicities will be properly represented in history, language, arts, music, civics, and all the appropriate areas of study. Teaching children by ethnicity is academic segregation, reinforcing in young minds that somehow we are different and separate from each other. These standards changes will allow children statewide to look at each other not by color or ethnicity, but as fellow Americans and fellow Arizonans, respected for their own unique history and culture, which has contributed to our great state. Arizona will be a model and a leader in education. Today, we will put away the failed tactics of the past and start Arizona on a road to excellence. This committee, this legislature, this superintendent, the governor, the dedicated educators, the parents, and the children across the state will look back and realize today was the turning point. By fostering statewide collaboration and building new partnerships, we will create higher academic Arizona standards for Arizona students through public meetings that accept input and provide feedback. Create accurate and inclusive history and civic standards to prepare students for citizenship. Create HIPAA-like protection of personal, private student data while protecting parents' rights. All of this and supporting the great teachers who work tirelessly for our students is the only way that Arizona will move forward. Of all the programs in the entire state, giving our children a world-class education should be the one thing we can all agree upon. The children of Arizona are our future. I know everyone in this room cares about providing our children the best education. My commitment is to work tirelessly with all of you to achieve that goal. I look forward to the challenge. Those of us who went through the gauntlet of primaries and general elections did so for a purpose: to do what is right, to make a difference. Let's impress the voters where it matters most, helping our children succeed by any measure. I take the confidence shown in me by the voters of Arizona very seriously. I will not stop until we have the best education system in the nation, right here in the great state of Arizona. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm deeply honored to work with all of you. May God bless the great state of Arizona. Thank you all.